The next section on the data entry sheet is the financial information section, and it is mandatory for all projects. The first item is the project duration, and it is calculated from the information in the timeline plan section. The next 4 items all relates to our interest charges. The first one is the rate of interest that we are paying on our existing lines of credit. The second one is the interest rate paid by a joint venture partner if we have one for this project. If not, an interest rate of 0 should be entered. The next one is the intended borrowings or the LVR for the purchase of the property and the interest rates that might be applied to that loan. The next item is the LVR for any construction loans and the rate of interests that might be applied to the construction loan. This item will not appear if there is no construction in the project. All of these interest rates are then averaged proportionally on the value of each loan to give us an average interest rate. The last item which must be completed for all projects is the percentage of the deposit that we pay on the purchase, and in this project we have specified an amount of 10%. The next section continues the financial information but is optional. The first few items we see are only relevant for projects that involve principal and interest loans, and these values are transferred to the equity growth sheet for the calculation of pre-tax and after-tax profits based on a principal and interest loan. The marginal tax rate that you see here is used in both the cash flow and equity growth sheets in order to determine the after-tax cash flow. The next 4 items all relate to an assessment of the project and how the project will pan out depending on these targets, and this is reported in the project summary sheet. I will cover this in more detail at a later time, and we will return to this section when we describe this in the project summary video. One of the benefits of this program is that it allows the investors to invest overseas, and in order to facilitate that type of investment, the program allows for the entry of various exchange rates. At the moment these options are not visible on the screen, and in order to make them visible we need to go back to the top of the screen, and under the state, rather than select an Australian state, we need to select Other. You will notice that this immediately raises an error because no GST will be applied to international investments. For the purposes of demonstration we'll just ignore this for the moment and return to the financial information section. Once we've returned to the financial information you will see that there are 2 additional lines showing here. If this project related to a property investment in the United States, then in the first drop-down list you see here we need to specify US dollars. What that means to the program is that all of the costs and cost items specified above this line have all been specified in US dollars. In the second line where we all can also specify currency, in this case we've selected Australian dollars from the drop-down list, and what this means to the program is that all the information in relation to the available funds for funding the project in America are specified in Australian dollars. By clicking on the Update Rates button these rates will automatically be updated from the internet. Rather than update from the internet, if we want to we can simply add our own value in here. The subject of investing internationally will be covered to some degree when we talk about the other sheets. Each of the other sheets will trigger various lines to appear or disappear depending on whether Other is selected so that we can see comparisons between cash flow in Australian dollars and cash flow in US dollars. All of the output reports from the program will also bear an indication to inform the reader which currency is used in the analysis. For the time being we are going to go back to Victoria as the location of the project, and I'll do that by just selecting Victoria in the state, and going back to the financial information section. This concludes the section on the mandatory and optional financial information.